What up, fam? Hit that like, hit that subscribe. This is HUD Wednesday night. The Phillies win, but is it time to panic? We're going to talk about it. Let's go.
I mean, how silly is that, man? We're talking about practice.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you. Let the celebration begin.
Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our good friends over at Baggio's Bread, located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. One of the best stuffed bread, tomato pie, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, you name it. Use promo code HUD Radio, get 10% off your order. Go check them out. Baggio's Bread. As always, Heel Chrome, Greg Milwakovic, Mike Mataraki. I'm Tom Arnone. No Eaton. No Luke tonight. He's moving into college tonight. If you guys want to know. No, it's time. This is season. This is season of the books and extracurriculars.
Force him out for the homie because he's done.
We're like proud uncles sending our boy off to school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he spent the summer with us and got a whole new appreciation for Major League Baseball.
Yeah. And he's going to go back being like, oh, people are going to be like, yo, we didn't know you knew it. And they never speak. Eagles preseason game 2 coming up. If you give a, you know what, we'll talk about it at the end of the show if we have time, or if you want to bring something up in the chat, we'll be more than happy to talk about anything you guys bring up. Phillies, Marlins, post game. Phillies end the 4-game losing streak. That's a good time. I mean, just a big swing tonight. Big swing. We're going to talk about it. But is it time to panic? Guys, right into our poll question. Does that not want to come up? Oh, there we go. It is officially time to panic. Or sorry, it's officially panic time for the Phillies. Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice. It's officially panic time for the Phillies. Oh, panic time. Agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. That's where we're live. Or I should say. Little Des Bryant.
Little X.
Little X. So what do you say? It is officially panic time for the Phillies. Agree or disagree? Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, man. It's a great, really good win tonight. I don't want to call it a great win. I mean, I don't calm down here, right? It's a good win tonight. It's a good win tonight. But is it a little panic time here? Am I a little sweaty? Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm going to run around here. We're going to run around here. This is a good win tonight, but we're going to run around here and act like the baseball I've watched. The baseball I've watched over the last 5 weeks has made me worse as a watcher. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's made me dumber. It's made me, you know what I mean? It's brought me down. It's brought my baseball mood down all around, because that's how much bad baseball I've watched. From errors, to walks, to downright horrendous at-bats throughout this entire line, top to bottom, where there's so much money. We talk about the pitchers and this and that, but there's so much money involved in this lineup for them all to be bad. Besides, like Nick, he's been swinging well for the most part, right? I mean, Turner over the last 2 weeks batting 152. Wait, 152. That's hard. That's hard if you're that good. It's like harder if you're that good. You're not like 250. Like, I understand guys go through it. I understand you go through it, but you can't go through it at a feeble rate. Like, you know what I mean? You go through it at 250, 240. You're going through it at 152. Tell me something's off. I mean, so this is a good start. They're like feeling better, but you know, they won 3 in a row, and we were feeling a little bit better, weren't we? We were like, okay.
Yeah, last week we sat here.
Yeah, here we go. And then right back. Arizona, hello. Smacks you right back in the mouth. Right back in the mouth. And they're not better than us. That's the bad thing. That's the part. That's why what we've done over the last 5 weeks has been so bad. Because it's not like these teams are better than us. I mean, if you look at our roster, it's not like these teams are better than us. We've been downright awful. So yeah, it is panic time a little bit. You should be sweating a little bit. I don't care about the Braves. I don't care about the postseason, like winning a division. Like, obviously you want to get in. So I'm not worried about like, oh, you're 8 games up on the Braves. I don't care. I didn't even be playing good baseball. We're not 8 games up anymore, but you know what I mean? Like people say, oh, they're 8 games up. Okay. I still need to play good baseball. and we haven't been. You can't be playing downright awful baseball getting midway through August, right? We're getting close to the end here. We're not far off. We got, you know what I mean? This is where you got to start revving it up. I need a ref. So I agree until there's a damn ref. I was trying to see how many games the Braves are back. So give me a second while you guys are talking.
Yeah, I was looking it up too. I think it's 6.5.
6.5 now.
All right, so people yelling like 6.5. It's a lot of games. It's a lot of games. I know it is. We can't be playing this bad though. It has nothing to do about who's chasing me. It has nothing to do about anything else. It has to do with if you're a playoff team, you can't go in playing this bad. Yeah. I don't know a team that would play this kind of clip that goes in that plays well. And all of a sudden, like, hey, you got that switch? Like it's like, oh, you know what I mean?
And it's for this long, right? Everybody's gone through it above us, but they were 2-3 weeks. We're bordering on 6 weeks going on here. Yep. You know, like the Yankees went through it in what, mid-April, early May, right? They went through it and now they're out of it. It's just a matter of when we get out of it. But we've been there for so long that it feels like right now that we can't get out of it.
Yeah, it feels like we're stuck, right? It feels like we'll play good. All of a sudden, we feel like we're playing better, and then we'll go lose three in a row. We'll go lose 4 in a row, right? Or, you know, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And that's been the whole 5 weeks.
It's frustrating because, you know, we're on last week, and we had the Rojas game, and they wind up taking – they take 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers. They get the opener in Arizona, and we're all thinking like, okay, we're back.
We're feeling good.
Yeah. No, we're not.
We're back. We're back.
Not so fast, my friend.
Everybody calm down. Not even close.
It does have an eerily similar feeling. And I know last week we kind of debunked this, but it does feel like they can't dig out almost the same way as the Eagles when they started sliding last year. It's like you get a little momentum the first 3 quarters, and then boom. Somehow it's just like they can't stop anybody. That's what it feels like. They can't stop anybody right
now. No. Yeah. So, I mean, I couldn't agree more. It's a little panic time.
Well, the one thing that I thought was interesting tonight was if you take a look at the box score, every starter reached base at least twice tonight, with the exception of Schwarber, who had a grand slam, and Edmundo Sosa. The production out of the shortstop position right now is just abysmal. And obviously it was a great thing that, you know, that Turner sat down tonight. Obviously it kind of jump-started the offense a little bit, but, you know, they gotta figure this out quick.
Yeah. And before you guys answer the poll real quick about Rob Thompson, you know, Matt Walsh says, my patience has worn thin with Rob Thompson. I don't disagree there. I'm not like trying to fire Rob, but like he does nothing in 5 weeks to make any type of adjustment or change. Just like move your lineup a little bit, bud. Like it's okay to move it a little bit when it's been 3 weeks. Like you're going through 2.5 weeks.
To do that, Tom.
Yeah.
This is the time.
He wants to just missionary roll it back out. And I get it. If you're in the playoffs, right? I get it in certain situations. Yeah. I get it early on in the year. I get it. But like when you start sputtering, like you're a week and a half in to a sputter, maybe roll something different, bro. Like that's where I get worn thin. I don't get caught up in like every bullpen move, right? I get caught up into that. Like you're not going to do anything. Okay. All right. Noted. So what are you there to do? What's your job? What do you do? Because if you're not willing to say, you know what, guys, you can have your own little meeting. Come on to my office. Everyone, you want that? We'll go through the lineup. All right, 1 through 9 on usual days. Come on in, and then I'll get to the subs. All right, and you know what I mean? You run it through the guys. Like, hey, we're gonna make a little switch today, and it's nothing you guys did. We aren't hitting as a group. We got to figure it out. This is what we're doing. Or you go talk to them all. You're a grown man. Like I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it obviously hasn't because he hasn't done anything. I feel like he hasn't moved. Yeah, I feel like that lineup doesn't change at all unless somebody's in for somebody else.
No, absolutely.
Oh, so I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry.
And today they apparently had a meeting, right? So to your point, right? First time in 5-6 weeks they had a meeting. But you have a meeting and then you come out and start the game like that. I'm like, well, that meeting worked well today. Thankfully, Cabrera is coming back and hung that changeup for Schwarber to get a hold of it, because we weren't winning that game. It's easy to say that, right? But we weren't winning that game without that swing.
No, but you need it. And they won the game. And that's what big-time players do.
Yep.
Right? That's what you pay these guys for. That's why they're getting paid big bucks. Like, they're getting paid big bucks to drive baseballs. But, all their stuff's been bad. Right? It's not even like, their situational hitting has been horrendous. But their hitting in general has been horrendous. So, of course, their situational is going to be horrendous most of the time. Right? It's not like most teams aren't like this horrendous at the plate and then their situational is great. You know what I mean? Like, it usually takes two to tango there. So it's just been everything they do has been bad. So it is a little panic time.
Well, tonight, 13 hits and 4 walks. So if the meeting did anything at all, I guess we're going to see. But there was something tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Now we got lefty on the mound for Washington tomorrow. Right? Is he like Carver, what's up? And then we're like, and then we're right back in it.
Most definitely.
They need a stretch. They need a stretch. Pope, I know if it goes into September, we're in trouble.
Oh, we're not in the playoffs right now, Pope. If it's into September.
It's been bad. If you're playing 500 baseball and everybody's running around here like crushing guys, then I'd be the first guy to be like, yo, calm down. We're breaking 14 games up. You know what I mean? If we were playing 500, you know what I mean? We're 14 games up. Everybody simmer down now, right? But it's not the case. We're playing like the second worst baseball in baseball since the All-Star break. That's hard to do. That's harder to do than play 500 baseball. That's hard to do, in my opinion. For this group, it's hard to do. That's how bad they've been collectively. So maybe there's a wake up. Maybe there's Mike, and they go, win 3 out of 4 or even better. Go say, hey, Washington, thanks for coming in. Appreciate you guys coming in. And a roll job, and you get yourselves back going here, right? And then if you go lose, if you go 2-2 in your next 4, okay. You know what I mean? Okay. So, what do you guys say to the poll? Are you guys panicking? Are you with me? Are you in a little bit of uncomfortability or discomfort?
Mike?
Everybody frozen?
I'm like, is that to me? Do I have to?
Oh, I didn't mean. I'm not I don't like being a director on here. You know what I mean?
No. It's just funny because me, Chrome, and Greg all looked at each other, and none of us want to touch this.
Water's warm. Jump in.
I'm gonna say no. I disagree. I'm not panicked yet, but I will say this. This is the earliest that I can remember being a fan of a first place team and checking the standings every day to see what's going on behind them. So, I wouldn't say it's panic time yet, but tell the fat lady she's on in 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm in full-fledged panic mode. Right now. And by the way, Tommy, real quick, the lefty tomorrow, Mitchell Parker, not only is a lefty, but a lefty we've never seen. So we are officially on no-hit alert. Especially the way this offense has been going.
Get the tweet ready now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
and he probably throws 98 with movement.
Well, we could hit 92 at movement last night. So, but I am in panic mode, right? Like, we sat here, as you said, last week, and we were encouraged by what we saw, right? You got the same type of outing from Phillips that you got tonight, but he was able to battle a little better the other night, and the team was able to come back. And we took that first game, but that Arizona series broke me this weekend. We got out hit in that entire series by almost double. I mean, I had the Arizona broadcast down here all weekend. I think over the series, they had 52, 53 hits on the series. They absolutely just destroyed us. And it made me think back, and I wonder, does this team struggle? Because look at the teams that usually give us problems, right? Marlins, Diamondbacks, some of these other younger, quicker, faster teams. do we struggle with teams that when they get on base, they're active? Does that do something to us mentally from a pitching standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, that we changed who we are? Because you look at, we came off the Dodgers, right? We've beaten the Dodgers 6 out of 7 times, or 5 out of 6 all year, right? We can handle the Dodgers, right? We can play with the old school, I don't want to say base-to-base teams, but teams that aren't all up on the base paths just flying around. But as soon as we play a young, scrappy team that's got some team speed, we seem to go into a different mindset and a different shell. And I wonder if that might have something to do with it outside of just the bad stretch of play that we have been seeing, right? It's the at-bats, as you said, right? Yeah. There's selfish at-bats all up and down this lineup. I think tonight might be the first night in probably 2-3 weeks where you saw guys passing the baton to the next guy, right? Opposite field swings, opposite field hits, right? Drawing walks as opposed to everybody trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It was refreshing to see tonight, but again, this week is Marlins Nationals. We should come back to relevancy against the Marlins and Nationals. Next week, when we got Braves and Royals, then I might come off the panic meter.
Yeah, nothing you said's wrong because that's how bad they've been. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and I have no problem with a disagree either, right, in this one because, like, I'm on the fence. I'm going to take a side tonight, but I'm like lukewarm in the panic. But since I'm lukewarm, I might as well go just get myself, hot as a pistol.
More than a toe in.
Yeah, I might go all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. But I'm just panicking because of the at-bats and the feebleness of it, and just the lack of shrinking the strike zone for yourself and going way out early in counts. And to me, that tells me you're not disciplined. You're not focused. Like at this level, at that level, right? Like if you're taking a zone like this and you're not taking it to this early in counts, well, you're telling me you're not locked in. So you're not going to tell me like you don't see everybody well, because if you don't see everybody well, you're a minor league player. Makes sense? That's how that works. So like, you tell me like 2 or 3 nights you don't see a guy. Okay, right, I got you. Right, certain stadium you don't pick it up. So you tell me you don't pick it up for 5 weeks? No, doesn't work like that. I mean, that's a guy borderline out of the league. So if not out of the league, that's how bad they've been. So, I mean, I agree with everything you guys. I mean, I agree with stuff Mike said, and I agree, and I obviously agree with Greg too, since he agrees. But listen, I believe they're going to be okay before Crum goes. Like I believe at some point, like we talked about, like the Yankees snapped out of it, other teams snap out of it. I believe they're going to snap out of it, but I've been believing that for 2 weeks. So, I believe in that for 2 weeks. This is why you're lukewarm, and then this is why you went full hot tub. Crum. I'm gonna direct now and make it easier at the end. Look at me now. Now you want to tell people when to go.
Throwing around, yeah. I'm not quite at panic mode yet, but I'm tiptoeing to the edge myself here. But again, I'm a believer in if it's like this going into September, that's where the alerts are going off to me. I mean, I do think you're seeing a lot of pressing right now. I think this team kind of bought their hype going into the All-Star game and coming out of the All-Star break. I mean, they scuffled a little bit real towards the end of the All-Star break. But overall, I think this team bought their hype. And I thought that we talked about how easy it looked, like everything was coming to all of these guys. And I felt like now they're getting that wake-up call. And it's unfortunate because it's tough when a lot of guys are not hitting at the same time. But, at the same, this team's too good. These guys are too professional, way too professional to not be able to turn it around at this point. So, I still think they should have went out and got a starting pitcher at the trade deadline. I think that would have helped with the depth here and given some guys some rest down the stretch a little bit. But either way, these guys got to hit. They're way too professional not to. And you guys are right. They look very undisciplined for the experience and for the success that a lot of these guys have had throughout their career. For everybody to be that undisciplined, a team meeting, hopefully that helps, because somebody had to stand up and say something in the front of the room in the locker room or whatever it was. So, the outburst tonight is great. We've been waiting to see if this team can start rolling from some point. You thought it was going to be those 3 games last week. Didn't happen. Now you got a couple of series coming up where you can start to rebuild that confidence a little bit, rolling into some tougher stretches going into September. So I think this weekend is very, very pivotal for them. From now to basically when we come back on next week, very pivotal for them to gauge where they're at.
This team they travel together. They do so much stuff together, and I get curious sometimes, especially a team that's close like this. I get curious, like, okay, they're close, so you guys are close, and for 5 weeks, every one of you try to do too much. So you guys internally don't have conversations about how talented your lineup is, or how good everybody around you is. So that, like Greg said, pass the baton, right? Stay inside of baseball, let a baseball travel a little bit, use the big part of the field, whatever you want to say, right? Whatever you want to say to get guys the buy-in of like trust yourself and conversations about, being calm and confident and getting your energy up and being excited and, being in the play. And I know it's a dog days, but that's why you got to stay loose. You got to stay excited. You got to have energy, right? Because if you don't have energy, what happens is, and energy come in all different ways, but like in a dugout, pre-game, stuff like that, right? When you're getting ready for the game, you got to have some laughs and some energy and have some fun and make sure guys are jumping around a little bit and it's moving, right? It's important because all that goes in the game night. And on game night, that's when you're playing. I mean, you should have a ton of energy. You should have a ton of focus. And at times, not even at times, throughout 5 weeks, it looks like this team checked out. They were just gone.
Yeah.
And whoever's talking, right? Whoever's doing a team meeting, better be the one getting hits.
Well, I think too, right? These guys, there's so much experience in this lineup. Like, are we not in the dugout having conversations with guys coming out of there at bats? This is what we're seeing from our angle, from the side. Like, I know you have coaches, you have a hitting coach, but for all intents and purposes, with how good and how professional some of these guys are, you essentially have a whole lot of coaches in that dugout. And are we in there, are we spitting sunflower seeds and having a good time and talking about this and that? Or are we in there, really analyzing at bats? Because I feel like that's really important, especially when almost an entire team has gone radio silent at the plate and is hitting 150 something, whatever it is. Are we not? The conversations need to change in the dugout. I'm not saying I don't know that that's not happening, but it feels like it's not happening. Like, to Greg's point, you watch a game like tonight, and it felt like there was an engagement there. It felt like, Greg used the term passing the baton. It seemed a little bit different. Now, will that carry over? You hope so. But I'm really curious what these conversations in the dugout are. Are we having fun? Or are we in there and we're sitting down breaking down at bats with our teammates?
Well, Chrome, to that point, I think one of the things that might be happening in there is if you look, and I'm not going to say it's over the entire 5-week stretch, but there have been flashes, and I think it's really kind of reared its head the most over the last maybe week to 10 days. I mean, this team is down, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 before they get their first hit in a game. And it's happened quite a bit lately. So, Chrome, to your point, I wonder if they're in the dugout kind of, talking amongst themselves like, oh my God, we're playing from behind again. And you got some guys trying to play hero ball, hitting a grand slam with nobody on base when the reality is you just got to play your game. I think you're spot on. Guys have to talk more. They got to, they got to tell each other what they're seeing at the plate. How does it look out of the pitcher's hand? Is he giving something away with his delivery, with the spin, whatever? But, every game when you're down, a solo homer in the top of the first, or the last couple nights, there's been a 3 spot in the top of the first, whatever. It's hard to play from behind. And I think they kind of, they let that get into their heads a little bit.
Yeah, and it's almost like they're not like trusting themselves, right? Because when you're rolling, right, no deficit ever feels too big. But I feel like they're in this defeated mind state right now, or this maybe I should agree to the poll because it feels like they're panicking. You know what I mean? So like maybe I'm backing off the ledge. I've never done that before in a poll before, but I might be now.
Are we talking ourselves into changing our minds?
I mean, it might. It kind of feels like they
tight.
themselves are in a panic state to where, to your point, what you mentioned there, right? You're seeing guys press, you're seeing guys try to do hero ball instead of just trusting your instincts, trusting your preparation, trusting the coaching staff that's supposed to be prepping you for the pitcher you're going to be facing and what you might be looking at. It feels like as soon as they get a little bit behind, immediately everything goes out the window, and it's, we're just going to swing, I don't want to say swing for the fences, but.
Well, no, that's exactly what it is, dude. Like, listen, Chrome, guys, I mean, it's exactly what it is. Guys are over swinging, right? If you're over swinging, you're swinging and missing, or you're rolling pitches over, or you're having lazy pop-ups, right? That's what happens when you're over swinging, or you're trying to do too much. Like, that's what is weird to me when it comes to pros, right? When keeping it simple, right? Keeping it simple, not trying to do too much. Catch a barrel. When you know that, and you're putting lazy at bats together, or you're over swinging, whatever it may be, right? That's where it's like, what? Like, I don't.
Well, Kruk almost lost his mind tonight in the pregame. They had 17 flyouts or pop-ups last night?
Week 2.
So, yeah, I mean, what you're saying, Tom, is 100% spot on.
Yeah, you get you're leaking open. You get early on a pitch because you're trying to crush it, right? And then you hit a lazy fly ball. Instead of like, hey, let me drive this pitch. Let me drive this 92. Let me drive it to left field. Or for me, like, that would be for me, right? But like, drive it into the gap. Like, live in gaps. Don't live line to line. If you live line to line, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Small, miss small.
Yeah, like, you're in trouble. That's exactly what they've done for like 5 weeks too. Is they've lived line to line, right? No matter who's up, they're living poolside line. They're trying to hit foul poles instead of trying to either hit one, off the Citizens Bank sign. I'm sorry, the Citizens Bank. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the bell.
The bell. I don't know why I drew a blank there. That's fun, but yeah.
And the other thing they're missing throughout this stretch is playing that complimentary baseball, right? Like, throughout the first half of the season, if the pitching came out and gave up a 3 spot, the offense came back and said, "Don't worry, boys, we got you." Right? So not only are like the at bats, at the bad at bats and the feeble at bats adding up, it's expanded because we're not pitching well right now. Right? Our bullpen just loves to walk guys. Our starters, our ERAs are double what they were in the first half of the year, and you knew that regression was coming, right? You knew we were going to level out, but what you didn't think was going to happen was the loss of that complimentary baseball, right? Like, the one night the bats don't go, the bats go cold. Don't worry, Wheeler's going to come out and throw a gem, right? Wheeler gets lit up. Don't worry, the boys got you at the plate to at least keep you in the game. That's been lost, and I think that's been lost because, exactly as you guys have said, everyone's trying to hit that 7-run home run with nobody on base.
Yeah, and then like Wheeler did end the streak, like the one time out before he got lit up
in Seattle. Yeah,
he ended a losing streak, and it's like, okay, exactly what you need him for. But there's gonna be times where he doesn't end one for you.
Yeah,
and that's like where other guys got to pick other guys up. Like, I'm all for attacking guys. Like, if he would have double barreled that, if he would have had an opportunity 2 times in a row and losing streaks, and he didn't, then you're hearing from me. But Noel's got to be better. I mean, guys got to be better. I don't want to hear about the pitching. Like, I want to hear about it because it's a flaw right now. How it's going. But those 2 guys got to be lights out. Then, that's where you need those guys to step up. When you're missing Ranger, right? You're missing Ranger like that, and you need guys to step up.
Yeah, and obviously, missing Ranger is huge, and their staff is nowhere near where they want it right now. But when they get to their next off day, they gotta shuffle the deck a little bit, because you can't have, Walker and the kid on back-to-back nights for the rest of the season, because that's a recipe for trouble. Like you got to at least, give your team a chance to win every night.
Who'd you say? That? I missed it.
So they have Taijuan Walker and Tyler Phillips back to back in the rotation right now. And in my opinion, they got to try to drop Sanchez in between them, or split those guys up if they're going to stay in the rotation long term. Because they're talking about when Ranger comes back, going to a 6-man rotation. If they're going to go to a 6-man rotation, they got to split Walker and Phillips.
Yeah, well, they'll probably put Ranger in between that.
I would hope so. But I don't even know that smart. I would wait for Ranger to come back. I would just, at the next off day, somebody's got to skip a turn and, do what you got to do for the rotation, because right now it's just, it's iffy.
No. I agree.
For sure is, yeah.
I agree. You want to give yourself a chance every night.
Well, and I think leading up with Taijuan coming back, to your point, Mike, I think Rob had a conversation with Wheeler and said, and asked him, do you want to go essentially tonight, right? Or do we want to throw Phillips in there and allow, Wheeler to get an extra day, and then he goes tomorrow? So I think the conversation was had, but I don't think they planned the going as bad as it did the last 2 nights, right?
What was Walker throwing the other night? How hard was he throwing?
He was back at 90, his 92, 93.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He was just the first inning, he missed his spots.
He just got behind everybody.
Yeah. He just, the first inning, he just couldn't find the strike zone. Once he got through the first inning, he was actually kind of okay.
Yeah, because he, they said in the minors he was like up in 94. So that's why I was like, oh, okay. Maybe he's getting his velo back in healthy. Maybe that can hurt us, I guess, at that point, right?
Those AAA guns are always a minute or two fast.
Yeah. Should have known that. But, I mean, okay, 92, 93, that's fine as long as he's hitting the spots. But, yeah, I'm not like – I want to go 6-man because I want to give guys a little bit of a breather. Murph, that's why you have to. I mean, this lineup should be so potent that you should be able to do whatever the heck you want with your rotation. That's what I'm sick and tired of. That's what I'm sick and tired of, all these big names in this lineup. And we get talk, we're scared to go 6-man rotation. Like, come on, that's where these guys pick us up. Like Mike said, you break them up, you split guys up, right? You mix and match it a little bit, and you go after it with a 6-man rotation. It's no big deal, because now you're saving some guys. You're giving these guys a little bit more of a breather. And then you work back at it at the end of September, into October, into the playoffs. That's how you do it. So, I mean, this lineup needs to step up as a whole. It needs to step up.
And to Murph's comment there, like, I'm not the biggest Taijuan Walker fan.
Me either.
But, I mean, the guy, he won 16 games last year. And for his career, he's like 25 games over 500. So, I mean, I think we're all down on him a little bit right now, but to say that he doesn't have the stuff to get major league hitters out, I mean, the back of the baseball card disproves that. I think he's just got to figure it out. And, to Mike's point, right now, yeah, maybe it seems a lot worse than it is, but, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and he's definitely not going anywhere, right? Like, if he's healthy, he's making $18 million a year. He ain't going anywhere.
No,
he's not going to pitch in the playoffs, but for the regular season,
he's not
going anywher.
He's not going anywhere regular season. Yeah, I mean, Swoop says when he worked fast last year, he's better. So, I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Mercer, I feel that time. I just don't see Walker Phillips getting this team competitive starts week after week. I think I don't disagree. I think most weeks you're probably not going to, but I think don't mix them in. And on those nights, you just got to hit, right? But you still have 4 other guys that should be able to win games for you. So that'd be 4-2, right? Without stealing one of those games. That's how you got to look at it, too. That's winning baseball. That wins you the division, right?
And then those got to be the nights where you got to put up 10 runs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Walker and or Phillips night are the nights where the bats got to come to go. They got to come ready to rock. That expectation has to be on them every once in a while.
You're going to get your 7-inning start out of Walker once in a while. You're going to get your same thing out of Phillips once in a while, right? Like, you're going to get it once in a while, you would think. And maybe you get more, and that's great. But those other 4 guys got to be on their games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not telling you shutting everybody out, but they got to be holding guys to 3 runs over 7, right? They got to be in that ballpark. 2 runs over 7, whatever you want to say. They got to be in that area. But this lineup needs to go out and average 5+ runs a game. I mean, that shouldn't even be up for debate on a consistent basis. They should be able to put 5 runs up night in, night out.
Yeah.
With the amount of money in this lineup. But I don't want to use money because they're talented. They're talented. They got track records. Whole lineup's got track records.
Yeah, I don't think we're going out on a limb to say that this starting staff, the first 100 games of the season, they probably overachieved.
Yep.
Well, great, normalize, don't underachieve. Just give us what we expect. You don't have to throw this garbage out there.
Well,
yeah, it's like they went from great, everything went from great to horrendous.
Yeah.
Why can't we have a middle ground? Why can't we just go, play 500 baseball? Why can't there be a middle ground?
And what's funny, Tom, I was just getting ready to go there, right? Yeah, where's 500 baseball at, right? Where's that been? Because I thought if we played 500 baseball, the sky would fall, right? In the city, right? I think playing 500 baseball through those last 65 games or 66 games, whatever it was, I thought the sky would have fallen just because, oh my God, we're no longer the 65 winning percentage, 650 winning percentage. God forbid. Now we're praying for 500 baseball.
Yeah. Like 500, I mean,
sign me up.
I mean, we did a show when we couldn't find a loss here in the second half of the season. So, where we were up to 110 win total. So they
our second half preview. Yeah, we hit 110, 105s. We were setting an MLB record.
Well, you would flip that win-loss that they've had.
Yeah.
Right? That's all you do. We expected them to play at that other clip, and they played at this clip.
I feel like I need to get in the bathroom. Like I mushed them.
And
I mean, we were all like 100.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you.
Got no 100.
We should just end the show. You know what I mean? Because we all were like, 100? What are you talking about? Who don't get to 100? Well, they might. They might not.
And Mike, you brought up earlier about checking the box scores and the standings, right? Our only saving grace is the Braves and now recently the Mets have played just as bad as us. And no one, even the overall standings, we're still a game and a half, 2 games back for the best record in baseball, which is astounding because the rest of the baseball hasn't run away with anything yet.
Yeah, I feel like
it doesn't make me feel better.
It doesn't.
I feel like it absolutely doesn't. But I feel like since the All-Star break, I just feel like since the All-Star break, 2/3 of Major League Baseball has just been horrible.
Yeah.
No,
what was that?
There's no disagreements there.
That graphic of the worst teams, and we were second, Braves were fourth. I'm like, all right, thank you a little bit.
Yeah, but then you got teams like Arizona. Arizona's won 6.
Scorching hot.
Yeah, they won 6 in a row. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Dodgers are 8-2 in their last 10. Padres are playing really good baseball.
Padres are really playing well. Yeah,
9-1 in their last 10. So
come on, hit a homer.
Pittsburgh lost their last 10. That's fun. Who else? Like I said, the Braves won 2 in a row, but they're 3-7 in their last 10. Right? Mets won, but they're 4-6 in their last 10. So they're not playing great. The Astros have been on fire too.
Yeah, they have.
Obviously won 8 in a row. Guardians won 5 in a row.
You figured that was coming with the Astros, though, right?
They lost 5 in a row prior, right? So if you run through it all, their team's playing really good, but they've also had their shit too.
Yeah.
Like the Astros, you figured it was coming, right? Because they started the season, and I'm pretty sure their entire starting pitching rotation was injured to start the year.
Yes.
We're pretty close to it. So you knew it was only going to be a matter of time before they put it together.
Yeah, they're always good. It's amazing. It's amazing that they're always good, isn't it? And then obviously Baltimore Yankees, they've been playing good baseball.
Yeah.
But I mean, over the last 10, to Greg's point and Mike's point, I mean, there's 4 or 5 teams that are playing, really high level baseball. There's 4 or 5 that are crushing it at the moment. But I hear you guys though. There hasn't been anybody like that, consistently.
If
you put that over 20.
If you look at the National League over the last 10, it's been the West. The West the top 3 teams in the West are all 8-2 or 9-1.
That's what the
And
Marlins guy said tonight. If the Braves or Mets don't improve at all, the West is getting 4 teams into the playoffs.
Yeah, like the only
Pretty
other
much.
team outside of the West that's played better than 500 baseball, just looking at it, has been Cincinnati. They're 7-3. Everybody else is 500 or worse in the National League right now, which is the saving grace for the Phillies because, again, there's not a lot of teams that are really, particularly in their own division, that are picking up ground.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, what we're talking about, Phillies are circle back. I don't want to jump off with the train I was on here.
Sure.
They're 5-5 in their last 10. And I guess we will take that, but it hasn't felt right.
It doesn't
right?
feel like 5-5, right?
It doesn't feel like that. So they need to play. Listen, the reason I need them to play better baseball is not because who's behind us. It's not how close we are to the best record in baseball. It's because you have to start playing good baseball as you get closer to the postseason. You can't go through this. So you need to be around 500 now. And when September comes, you better be on fire. I need, play 500 in the middle of September and then go on like a 2.5 week stretch where you can't lose. Something like that. I need something like that. I need an outburst going in. I need an outburst going into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's you're not going to win playoff games, playing at a 500 or just above, just below clip.
No.
Like you got to get hot going in for sure.
Martian, Matt has no feelings.
He's not wrong.
And this is the week, though. This is the week to get that on stretch, right? Get that started, right? Marlins and the Nationals come in. You're at home. There should be no reason why you can't take 3 or 4, if not sweep the Nationals.
I mean, they should,
especially with our pitching the way it's set up, right?
So if they split the Nationals, you guys panicking yet? The panic time for you guys yet?
Yeah, I already was there.
Not sweep them, but win the series.
So 3 out of 4.
They gotta take 3 out of 4.
I'll take 3 out of 4.
Yeah, 3 out of 4.
It would settle me a little bit, but again, next week is on the road at Atlanta at KC.
Yeah, well, I'm not there yet. 3 out of 4 from them is a good start. Now, if they go one, they lose 3 out of 4. Is Mike and Chrome? Are they panicking yet? Are you guys panicking? If they go 3 out of 4, lose 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 to Washington is. Yeah, I might make the full swing.
Wheeler, Nola, sure. Sanchez, Walker. That's our starters.
That's the thing, right? So you're looking at
it. Better be a yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if 3 of your best arms of the rotation aren't able to pull out at least 2 wins, at least 2 and split, then that's very alarming.
Bishaw says if we lose to the damn Nationals, I'm ringing the alarm. Unacceptable. He's right.
Yeah, I mean, if it's your top 4 in the rotation, as it stands right now, that absolutely becomes panic time.
Yeah, my team stinks, by the way.
Yeah, well, I'm not here to address that, Martian. You know what I mean? Like I could have said that 7 times tonight. Where he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm not panicking." I'm like, "Of course you're not. Yeah, of course you're not. You're fine."
Listen, I am a professional. And as an analyst of Philadelphia sports here, I follow the Philadelphia Phillies, and I have to cover them the same way I would if I was covering the Cardinals. And yes, I feel for you guys right now. It's tough. I enjoy watching the Phillies. I enjoy watching great baseball. So,
I haven't enjoyed.
Now you lost us.
I'm saying watching a team that's like over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Really underachieving is difficult to watch because I think that obviously I expect better from them.
No, I think clearly all of Major League Baseball expects better from them. I mean, they've been a national broadcast like 5 or 6 times since the All-Star break, and I think they've got 1 win in all those national games.
I know it's tough.
Yeah, they're not happy. Major League Baseball is not happy about that. just like a lot of just bad baseball.
Yeah.
You know, JT hasn't been good. Like,
No, he hasn't been good at all.
He can't. He feels like he's had no pop. His pop time stinks now. Like I can't throw anybody out. Like I don't know. The throw in Arizona. Like I need Bohm to stay in front of that ball. But like, why throw that with 2 outs?
Yeah.
Like it's situational baseball too. Like
undisciplined baseball. Tommy.
Yeah, like that guy's scoring. That guy's going to score on a hit anyway. So are you that worried about the pass ball? Like you know what I mean? Like,
but it happened again last night too.
Yeah,
desperation baseball.
Yeah, the Edwards steal a third.
No, was that when he spiked it? Or was that a different one?
last night?
No, last night was he tried
short hop Bohm, and then the ball ricocheted off the umpire into left field, and the runner came home.
Yeah, that was last night that I was thinking about. Yeah.
Okay.
But either, yeah, it's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
Same play.
And he's not doing it at the plate, so it's like you're starting to wonder in the back of your head. Like, I understand he's really good with the pitching group, but obviously you're not playing stubs over him. But like, is he starting to get to the point where he's almost unplayable? Now, hopefully, we start playing well, and he's the one guy in the lineup that you can live being bad, but when everyone's struggling, everyone starts looking at a microscope, you know what I mean? And you start getting, you start seeing things and you're like, oh my God, maybe he is unplayable at this point. And I don't think that, but I would have thought that game in Arizona where he hit the double and then he hit the homer, I was hoping that would have gotten him going. I don't know.
I mean, he's hit in his last 5, he's hitting 4 out of 5 games. Okay. So, I mean, there's a little bit of life, maybe.
There's definitely some life.
He had 2 RBIs tonight, 2 hits, and a hit last night. He came up in a big spot last night, also got out. Hit 1 hit in Arizona, an 0-for, and then a 2-hit homer game.
Did the sitting down of Trey Turner shock you guys?
Shock me?
No, not at all.
Well, Rob Thompson, naturally, and you look at Nick Castellanos, Rob Thompson has not set a precedence of sitting a guy when he's struggling, right? He, as you said earlier, right? He's the definition of missionary. I'm going to let my guys work themselves out, right? There's so many times throughout the beginning of this year that we could have sat Nick down. We could have sat a number of guys down, right? But then he decides tonight to be the one to sit Turner down. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I'm not saying I didn't agree with the move, but I just thought it was a strange precedence to start setting now, as opposed to when you could have sat Nicky down, you could have sat Bryce down in his 1 for 75 swing, right? No, none of that. Just keep rolling the guys out. And all of a sudden now today is Turner's time to go down. Like I said, I don't disagree with it. It just caught me off guard. I mean, he's been an automatic out the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, is it more like the player in that situation? Like, does he benefit more from sitting, he feels like, or the other 2 guys maybe feel like they benefit from just seeing it and it doesn't help him doing that?
You're right. Maybe it was his choice. Who knows, right?
But it's still missionary. Robbie is. It doesn't change the fact. I just think he goes off of what his players want. More so, like his big money guys, he sort of lets them not do what they want. I'm not saying that, but like if they feel like they need to keep playing through the slump and they're competitors like that, he like lets them.
So they were talking on the broadcast tonight about how he said that, one of the things that he learned working under Joe Torre for so long was, a lot of times you have to be patient, sometimes almost to the point where it's painful, and you don't change your lineup and you don't sit guys. And Joe Torre had a history of just running the same lineup out there over and over and over again and letting guys play their way out of it. And that's all well and good when you've got rings, but this team hasn't had a ring since 2008. So
yeah, it's all your personnel. Joe Torre also had Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
So when we get Mo in the house, let me know, Robbie. And as we finish up here, about 10 left on the clock. What's their next what's our next 7, Greg? Obviously, the 4 versus Washington, and was it Kansas City or is it Atlanta first?
4 versus Washington, Atlanta to start the week, Tuesday through Thursday. So we do get an off day on Monday, Mike, like to your point, right? There's potentially another spot to potentially either sit a guy or skip a guy or whatever. Start off in Atlanta, end the week in Kansas City. So our next 10, Washington home at 4, at Atlanta, at KC.
They need to go 7-3.
Yeah, I take that for next 10. I think at minimum it's got to be 6-4.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's got to be minimum 6-4. But I mean, I'm with Mike. I need a 7-3 though. I need a 7-3. They need a 7-3. Forget me.
Well, yeah, I mean they got to get 3 out of 4 from Washington, and then they got to win the 2 out of 3 in each of the other 2 series on the road.
Yeah, I mean, if they swept Washington somehow, then they're set up great.
Off.
Yeah,
I mean, set yourself up.
They have to start playing better on the road because they
haven't been good.
They are road warriors basically for the rest of the season. So,
and they're 31-28 on the road, I believe. So they haven't been good enough. I mean, you're over 500, but you haven't been good enough.
Honestly, they need to go 7-3 too, because it doesn't get any easier after that. Because then you got Houston. I mean, you're at home. You have Houston, then Atlanta again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that if you pick it up, you can put Atlanta real far in the rearview mirror before the end of this month, but you got to pick it up to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you got
with seven games
against them in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can put the nail in the coffin on the Braves before the end of the month, but not playing this way.
No, not playing this way at all. They're just gonna keep letting them hang in. I want to get to one of the comments, but while we're doing it, hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn your alerts on, stay with us. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. CJ, it might be out on him too with Stott. You're not wrong. He does have to, adjust back to how pitchers are attacking him and figure that out. But he seems like he's coming out of it slowly here over the last week or 2, maybe 3. He's actually have shown some signs of life. We'll see if he can really come out of it, which would be huge for this baseball team.
I'm convinced that Bryce Harper is the only dude on this team that doesn't go into a slump when he has a kid.
Seriously.
You look at last year. Trey Turner and his wife had a kid, and Turner got off to a horrendous start last year, and Stott and his girlfriend or fiance, whatever, had a kid this year, and now Stotty's in the same boat. Harper's the only one who has a kid and goes on a tear.
I'm a lot like Bryce Harper then.
If you don't say so yourself.
Oh, I mean, did he just have another one, or is she just pregnant, Bryce's wife?
I think she's just pregnant.
Okay.
No, Bryce?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I know they had one when he took the paternity leave when they were in Cincinnati because Cody Clemens had the 2 home run game. So that I don't think Bryce's wife is pregnant, but I could be wrong about that.
Oh, she's just sad. So maybe that's where.
But I know Stott's wife or fiance had one right before spring training, and
yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah,
I
thought Harper was back on the.
Yeah, I thought he was too. Because didn't he have the other one last year, or was it this year? Harper.
Who are we talking about? Bryce?
Yeah. Wasn't it last year or this year?
I thought it was early this year when they were in Cincinnati.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Right. It might have been.
Well, that's where the slump could come from. That's where his.
I forgot he had those couple days where he was out.
Yeah,
it was in May. They had the baby in May.
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we freaking go. So now
slump buster.
Yeah,
we figured it out.
So I mean, he's in that conversation too. Him, Stott, Turner. They're all. Calm down.
Bryce is just trying Bryson's just trying to copy Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce making sure the lineage is strong. So Martian says, yeah, he's making sure there's a lot left over when he's done. But no, we thank you guys for talking Phils with us tonight. It's good to get a win, but need a lot more like we talked about. So hopefully they finish this summer off strong heading in September. Umberto asked a question a little bit earlier as we work our way out of here last few minutes, but he says, you guys think Jalen Hurts will return to 2022 form this year? He better. This offense better average 30 a game with all this talent. I think they will, he says. I think he's going to be closer to that than this year, but I also agree with you, Umberto. I think he has to be. This offense is loaded, right? Like I don't think there's a choice here. Like, you know, and what I think and what needs to happen could be completely two different things. But I know what I need to happen. He needs to be that 2022 form. Has to be. And it's 30 a game. Yeah, I mean, 28 a game, you know, in that range. Like, they got to be up there. Of course, they better be. I mean, goodness gracious. I mean, imagine this team needing a third wide receiver. I talk about third wide receiver. Oh, my God.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think there's any chance with, you know, team-on-team practices this week up in New England that the starters are going to play it all this weekend.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been tuned into the New England media while they've been up there this week just to see what they're saying. And the New England media is saying that the Eagles offense is scary good and the defense is better than advertised. So I'll take that.
Yeah.
Now, granted,
stinks.
New England flat out stinks. Exactly. So
their offense does, at least.
You know, right. The offense does. So the Eagles defense better than advertised. That's, you know, that remains to be seen. But them saying that the offense is scary good, they should be with all these weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the sentiment, right? Yeah.
I think their defense is going to be a lot better too. I do. I think they're going to be really good. So.
Yeah, and I definitely think Jalen bounces back this year, and I think a big contributor to that is going to be Saquon Barkley's addition. They get more play action in the offense, and I'll tell you what. Now, I said it before, but I want Will Shipley as the RB2 on this team, and Kenny Gainwell number 3.
Yeah, that's fine. That doesn't matter. I don't think if that matters to us, we're in trouble. So I look at it when I'm paying a running back.
We also have to factor into the fact that the NFL is rigged, right? Right. It's borderline WWE, right? So we saw over the Olympics who was the guy throwing the football onto the torch for the 2028 Olympics, right? Our own guy, right? I don't think the NFL is going to let Jalen Hurts have 2 down years, especially heading into the prime of his career, right? I think he's set up to it. I think he's got the makeup to do it. I mean, I throw that rigged out for just, laughs and stuff, but I do also think that the NFL does obviously control some things.
Oh, he's in an NFL title game, then it's up to him.
Yeah. Although the fact that he's the ambassador for flag football. I
mean, there's a lot of other guys that I would have chosen, right, to be the quarterback of my flag football team, but he's got the look and he's got the vibes that I know the NFL likes and the NFL looks to push. And I don't think that's a coincidence. So I also look at that too, when you look at this year and what we have around him. He's set up to not fail. So it's got to be on him.
You think? Listen, I want to put this out right now. There's video evidence. Not only does Cass have one Eagles jersey and it's Jalen Hurts, but bought him a tee the other day, t-shirt jersey, and that had Jalen Hurts on it. So if he plays like dog shit, and I smoke him this year, I want it to be known. Ain't no hater here. I love my Eagles, and we're supposed to be too good to not be good. That's how it works. So just before you get that out there, plant that seed early, because I don't know what to think anymore. It's Philly sports. But, I think when we
can't have nice things. You're absolutely right.
But that being said, Greg, when I go through their schedule in the next coming weeks here, it's going to be hard for me to find a loss. It's gonna be hard for me.
Oh, here we go again.
It's gonna be hard. I mean, you guys are going. Yeah, look at these guys. They're 14-2.
It's like this feels like a 12-5 football team. Okay, what are the 5 losses? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like Noah.
14-3. Sorry.
Fox Sports is 10.5 is the over/under.
The what?
Over/under 10.5.
Oh, you bet the over all day on that.
Pound that over, but it's so low. It disturbs
You're
me.
talking to me. I had over 11.5 wins last.
Didn't that go up?
Over 11.5.
Hold on, that went up though. It started at 9.5.
have.
No, we did it before. We did it like weeks ago, months. It might have been a month ago.
Let me
We
go.
did it like a month ago, and it was like 9.5.
See, I thought it was 10.5 then. So
Was it? Shit. Felt good that it went up. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong.
Team futures. Let's see what Hard Rock's got.
But yeah, I mean, I would love to see that around like 11.5. You know, I really feel like a little bit better about it. But yeah,
Hard Rock bets 11 or 10.5, minus 135. So they obviously envision a lot of people hitting the over, right? They're higher than normal odds on it.
Yeah, that is weird. That must makes me feel like they have them at like 12 wins in their brains.
Yeah,
but they feel like Saquon's going to tear his ACL.
Yeah.
Just say
as an over ticket holder last year, I'm still pissed off at them.
Who wouldn't be, bro? That was the worst. Not only that, it's the worst football I've ever seen.
Yes, it was horrendous football.
I thought there got to a point where I was like, I don't bet. I haven't bet in a while, but last football season I was throwing it around a little bit, and I was like, I kept doubling down every Sunday. Like, this is the Sunday. This is it.
They're back.
Yeah. Everything during the week got me rock hard, and then we stopped. You know what I mean? Like, you hear all the right things throughout the week, and you're like, ding. You're like, oh.
We're back, baby. Then, just like tonight with the Phillies, right? Like, we beat the Marlins. We're back, baby.
Yeah, and the Chrome and Murph, I do like Shipley too. You know, I just don't care who they list as the number 2 to me, because it's like it's a Saquon show. But either way, I feel like, Kellen Moore's going to make the right decision on whoever that should be. It's just his knowledge of the playbook. I think it's going to hurt him. But, I mean, it's a new one for Kenny too. He's just not a rookie. So that's where Kenny probably gets the edge. It's just being more of a veteran now at this point.
All right, I got my 5 losses. It's debatable. I will say that it's debatable, but I got
save
my
it for
5
next
losses.
week when you guys go through the schedule for next week.
I'm sitting firm on 12-5, but I got my 5 losses.
I'm gonna be 13-4. You can write that down somewhere.
Put in a book.
Yeah, man. But right. 14. I mean, by tomorrow morning, by next Wednesday.
They're undefeated, right?
Tommy will be 15-2 by Sunday.
15-2. Yeah, 15-2. By the time we fire this up next week, it's like Thomas went 16-1. They were chasing history. They were chasing history. All right, boys. Great stuff. We kept it to our time. 4 minutes ahead of schedule in a way, too.
That a guy.
What's his face is replacing Reddick?
Josh Huff.
Hoff. Not Josh Hoff. Jesus. That's not
Bryce
Josh.
Huff. Bryce
Huff.
Josh Sweat, Bryce Huff, Josh Huff. We're good.
Didn't Josh Huff carry like a handgun?
Yeah, I was going to say Josh Huff is still trying to shake the gun charges.
Yeah. I knew that. Yeah.
He still can't go near anything.
No, and Sweat, and I think they expect a lot of sack production from Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
And
Nolan Smith,
and I think they still expect a few out of Brandon Graham too. I'm not saying he's double digits, but I think they expect 5 out of him. They expect a 5-piece. So you hope that like Hoff and Sweat, can get you double digits, and then you get that 7.5 from Nolan Carter, or Nolan Smith, and you get your whatever 8 from Jalen Carter, and you go around the board. So
I'm jumping for Jalix.
No losses.
Josh, don't do this to the NHL. Josh, he might not be good, Huff. I don't know. I think he gets to the quarterback well. He said he hasn't heard any good things about him in camp. Like There's guys you're going to hear good things about in camp that will never be in the NFL. So just take everything with a grain of salt we hear in camp. We'll find out if he can play big. And we'll circle back to it because I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't take anything out of camp.
God.
I'm not a camp guy. I camp.
My two biggest pet peeves about the Eagles. People that fall in love with local guys and people that fall in love with camp heroes.
Yep, you're spot on, Mike. And Larson's the problem. And we love him. We love him for being a problem. But that's Heel Chrome, Greg Malakovic, Mike Mataraki. I'm Tom Arnone. Yeah, everybody's glazing Johnny Wilson. Yep, because he's a gigantic human being.
Hit that like so hit that like on our way out. Let's get us to 20. Let's go.
Come on, get it to 20. If he gets to 20, get us to 50. All right,
yeah.
Over on YouTube. And if you're watching somewhere else, hit the like, subscribe, follow, wherever you're watching us at. We'll see you next Wednesday night. Oh, Luke, our son. That we sent off. We sent off. He's up at school. What's up, fellas? Evan White hate Rojas Glaze season. Yeah, not tonight. There was no Glaze at Rojas, but Devin White's a big reason why our defense is going to be better. And excited to see that week 1.
Cheers, young fellow. Welcome back to school.
Yeah, Greg says welcome back like Greg's up there.
Have a great first week back, buddy.
Well, I know where he's at, so we know
Greg,
there's a lot
of
from all your uncles.
A lot of cans being hammered.
Yeah, well, Greg acts like he's a donor. You know what I mean? Like he's
doing.
I'm not saying you're not. Like he's doing NIL deals. That's how the Penn State guy is. Hey, Greg is doing an NIL deal.
Hashtag we are.
NIL.
Yeah, that's it. Greg,
all your uncles wish you luck on a great semester there, Luke.
We do, our son. Our little guy. We and enjoy yourself too. Make sure the grades are fantastic, right? But enjoy yourself safely. All right, we say safely. Be safe.
It's called Happy Valley for a reason.
Yep, and make sure you're happy.
Just saying.
And everybody out there, make sure you're happy too. This has been ATD Wednesday nights, only on ATD Radio.
We're happy.
We're extremely happy. See you next Wednesday night. I'll see you Sunday with Greg.